Good morning. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. It's so nice to see you. Now, if you want to really get right down to it, today we're going to talk about the unconditional relationship. Hello, Judy. How are you, my friend? Nice to see you. I hope you and Steven are doing well. Can't wait to connect and find out about your work and how everything's falling together beautifully. So nice to see you. I'm going to wait for about one more minute and let the audience build a bit, and then I'm going to talk about responsibility, which is a big enchilada. Big enchilada. By the way, Jasper the pet baby squirrel is just happy as a lark. Hi, April. Nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Yeah. And so today we're going to talk about responsibility in relationships. But this is going to be a packed discussion because, y'all need to ask some questions or say something, okay? So I can have a discussion. Nevertheless, I'm going to be talking about responsibility. And when you look at the idea of responsibility in the context of relationships, what that really means is responsibility for your own self and responsibility for how you nurture and grow that relationship. Hi, Kathy. How are you today? Nice to see you. So all is well in my world. All right, get your pen out, get your journal out, and get ready. Buckle your seatbelt because we're going to talk about some good stuff. Here's the good news. There's nobody working on the yard next door, so you won't see me getting frustrated about the blowers and the weed eaters. Today's a beautiful day in Florida. It is hot as the dickens, though. All right, so I want to start with this idea. We're on day 8 of the unconditional relationship. And throughout the last 8 days, I've talked a lot about taking responsibility for your own sense of self-awareness, your internalized locus of control, how you live in the world, your own sense of divinity, taking responsibility for you. But I want to drill that down pretty significantly today. And what I want you to consider is, as you were a child, what were you taught? What were we taught about this issue called responsibility? Well, take responsibility for yourself. Take responsibility for your actions, the decisions that you make. Be a responsible member in society. Drink responsibly, drive responsibly, work responsibly. We have thrown this idea of responsibility around all over every aspect of our lives, and we're often taught the word responsibility, but no one really breaks that down and says this is what it really means to be responsible. So it's two-part for me. I want to talk about what it means to be responsible to yourself and to your own emotional standing, and then being responsible in the context of a loving, unconditional relationship, whether that's with a spouse or a partner or a friend or whomever, okay? So what I want you to think about is, here's how I define responsibility. Responsibility is the act of accepting and owning every aspect of your life. So let's break that down. It's accepting and owning every aspect of your life, your feelings, your thoughts, your actions, and how you interact with others. You are in charge, and you are solely, deliberately responsible to do it your way. All right? So now let me say a side note about this. Far too often, people do not accept responsibility for themselves when they say things like, he made me so mad, or she forced me to do this, or they are in a work situation, for instance, and their fear is so pervasive that they don't make the hard decisions and get out of the work. That's irresponsible. Or they have thoughts about certain things that they don't completely own, or they behave certain ways. I'll give you a perfect example. As a therapist, how many times did I hear people say, I have an anger control issue, which is ultimately total bullshit, and I'll tell you why. So I was sitting with the client and his wife, and he had gotten really stupid, and she looked at him, and then she looked at me, and she said, well, we need to work on his anger control problem, his anger management problem. I said, let me ask you some questions, Peter. First of all, do you have a job? Yes. Peter, do you have friends? Do you play golf? Yes, yes. Do you have a social group that you interact with? Yes. And I said, wow. How have you been able to maintain all that? He said, what do you mean? It's just what I have. It's just my responsibilities. I said, well, with this anger management problem that you have, it must be kind of difficult because you're probably blowing up on your friends and getting angry at work. How have you kept a job? He said, that's not a problem at all. I looked at him and then I looked at her and I said, here's the thing, you two. He doesn't have an anger management problem. He has got a control problem. So this idea that anger management is something that people have a problem with, no. They have a problem taking responsibility for their choices. Or let me give you another example of someone who often has irresponsibility in their lives. This is that person who is living in a victim state. They're blaming the world, the circumstances, other people, their family, their friends. They blame their upbringing. They blame everything on someone else. They're blame throwers. Throw some blame somewhere. And if you put blame anywhere in your life, you are acting irresponsibly. Period. End of story. And I'll tell you why I feel so strongly about that. Because you create your reality. You create it. No one else is creating it for you, and you can fight me on the mat with that, all right? So, point number one, responsibility is the act of accepting and owning every aspect of your life. If you're unhappy in some aspect of your life, then stop whining about it and do something about it. And I don't want to hear your mamby-pamby excuses about it. I want you to do something about it if you really want to. Or you can go ahead and swim in that pit of suffering for as long as you'd like. I want you to be responsible for your feelings. And here's the thing. I have so many people say, oh, I've got this mental health issue. I've got anxiety problems. I've got this. I've got that. Horse shit. Horse shit. Because people that have a diagnosis oftentimes have never had a therapist say, you need to learn how to manage your emotions. And I'm going to show you how. Now, sure, there might be some chemical imbalance in your brain, but that does not give you the right to blame someone else, all right? Taking responsibility for your thoughts and ultimately every action. It's about how you live in the world, all right? Here's the second thought I have about responsibility. Responsibility is being fully aware of all of the decisions, perceptions, reactions, and consequences of every choice you make. You are fully aware. You are driving the bus responsibly. Every decision you make, you are going to measure the consequences. Every perception you have about the world. If you're a victim, you're going to perceive it through a lens of victimhood. If you're a survivor, you're going to see it a certain way. If you're a thriver or if you're a creator. And I want you to move to a place where you are creating real time, creating the life of joy, peace, and purpose that you absolutely deserve. And here's why you deserve it. Because you are a divinely inspired, beautiful inspiration of creation. So, all the decisions, perceptions, reactions, and consequences. Own your choices, friends. That's responsibility. All right? Here's the third piece of responsibility, and this one's a hard-packed, difficult thing to hear. But I'm not here to be nice. I'm here to help you heal your heart and soul. Responsibility is not allowing your wounds to hold you or your narratives to oppress you. You manage your stories. All of them. If you have had a bad childhood or a difficult upbringing or have gone through a tragic divorce or a bunch of deaths or whatever it may be, you're holding on to stories tied to all that experience. That's what I call the compare and despair game oftentimes. You compare yourself to a standard or an expectation, and then you despair. Guess what? Comparing and despairing is irresponsible. Period. End of story. And this is why I believe that, because you are beautifully and wonderfully made. You are a perfect divine expression. Now, responsibility is also never allowing yourself to relegate your choice toward someone else. Someone else doesn't create the peace in your life. They're not making you whole. They're not making you happy. You are creating that story. So you drive the bus. Now, here's the other piece about responsibility. I want you to consistently maintain an internalized locus of control. Now remember, I was giving you the example. Some people that have an internalized locus of control see that they drive the bus. They are responsible for their perceptions, reactions, choices, decisions, the rules in their life, the expectations, the judgments, the criticisms, managing the wounds, dealing with the relationships, the way they honor people. They are driving. As opposed to somebody with an externalized locus of control who says, oh, the world is imposing something on me. Shut the hell up. The world's not imposing anything on you. You're seeing it through a lens. You are creating your story. And you can control your story. Hi, Matt. Hi, David. Nice to see you guys. You control your story. Now, ultimately, you, if you stand in responsibility, have a complete and profound realization that you cannot allow anyone or anything to affect how you create your story. You can't. Doesn't work. If you don't like your story, you got to change it. That's right, David Cahill. That's right. Now, I've said this a lot. Your stories reside in your past. Your stories reside in your future. But if you live firmly planted in the present moment, which, by the way, is the most beautiful place we can be, that's where you create joy. That's where you create peace. That's where you create happiness. And by living in the present moment, you're able then to drive your life the way you want it. But you've got to maintain this creative, exploratory understanding. There we go. Goodbye. Goodbye, somebody. You've got to own that story. You got to create that reality. You got to be responsible to you. Okay, now let me move to phase 2 of this conversation, and that's responsibility in the unconditional relationship. First of all, you're responsible for the role that you play in your world, how you show up. Are you showing up in your best version of yourself? Or are you showing up half-assed and miserable? Are you trying to blame other people, or are you showing up in full strength and full responsibility? Because in the context of a relationship, it is never someone else's fault. It is about you, how you are seeing yourself in the story. If you've got somebody in your life that you think is abusing or mistreating you, then I have one powerful question. Why are you choosing to be there? How long are you going to swim in that pool? Because you have a choice. And I know people say, oh, well, I have this responsibility, or I've got to take care of the kids. I got to make sure my future. I hear you. But guess what? All you're doing is letting that fear play in. All you're doing is letting that fear. I love what Judy just said. You have no other role in your relationship other than partner. I'm not your mother. I'm not your brother. I'm not your keeper. I'm not your emotional stability. I'm not your adventure seeker. I'm not your sexual toy. I am here to be your partner on the journey. All right? That's beautiful. Now, in the context of relationship 2, it's about owning your own perceptions and reactions. Far too often, you get triggered by something. I'll give you an example. I was talking to a dear friend yesterday, and her partner walked in and was bitching and moaning about some different things. And instead of triggering to that stuff and allowing that emotion to kick in, she chose a different perception. She said, I'm going to kind of watch this. I'm not going to get wound up in this whirlwind of drama, and I'm simply going to continue to do what I'm doing. And he can get glad in the same boots he got mad in. He can puff up, just like raising kids. Sometimes you just have to let them get stupid. But you get stupid when you play in there stupid. So don't do that. All right? In a loving, unconditional relationship, being responsible means showing your best loving self. What does that look like? How do you wake up every day? How do you manage your energy, or do you spew hostility? By the time you get out of bed, the first foot on the ground, I want you to be grounded in a place where you say, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm vibrant, I'm alive, I'm blessed, I'm grateful. I have a mission today to change the world and make it better. And then launch your day knowing that great things flow to you and through you, that you are safe, secure, happy, and loved, that you have a purpose and a mission, that you are divinely appointed to live here on this face of this earth. And ultimately, that mission is to learn unconditional love and to share it beautifully, to step fully into the divine essence of who you are. All right? So, how do you express that responsibility of love towards your spouse or partner? Are you doing the little things that make a big difference? Are you letting things roll off your back like a duck lets water roll off? Or are you bogging down in the bullshit drama? Because if you're bogging down in the drama, that's a choice of irresponsibility. Don't let it happen. If you're having a shitty day, stay in bed. Don't go to the Safeway and yell at the clerk. Don't get stupid driving down the street. Don't say you got a road rage problem because you're just choosing to be an asshole. That's irresponsibility. Instead, as Judy just said, it's about self-care. It's about loving yourself first. It's about filling the vessel. And you become the greatest version of yourself possible, knowing that you're getting better and better every day in every single way. That's beautiful. Now, I've said this before, but you've been sold a bill of goods that says you are flawed, you have sorry. Woohoo! Hey, fellas. Trash truck. I love my front porch, but it's a little noise. So, you have the ability and you have the responsibility to take care of yourself first. And if you can't take care of yourself first, you can only pour out so much. And then you're going to be pouring out of a half pitcher. Good God, here's another trash truck. Hey fellas, nice to see you. There we go, we're all good. Hi Don, nice to see you, my brother. Showing up lovingly is about not spewing your hostility, not spewing your frustration, not being bitter or angry, not roping other people into your drama. Let me tell you one big, bold, beautiful thing. If somebody's bringing some drama into my world, I'm going to listen to it for a second, and I'm going to hold a space, and then I'm going to look right at you and punch you right between the eyeballs with a statement. And that statement basically is, own your shit. I don't need that in my world. And so my question to you is, who in your life are you tolerating drama from? Or toxicity, or negativity, or hostility, or neediness, or clinginess? You guys have got to call people to a higher place. We got to ask and hold each other accountable. Hi, Roman. We got to hold each other accountable to being the best versions of ourselves. But ultimately, we've got to hold ourselves accountable to being the best, most beautiful version possible. Now, here's the thing. That's a spiritual thing. And it requires you to stand in a place of understanding your own divinity, understanding your own purpose in the world, understanding the beauty that you express in creation. And the greatest act of responsibility in an unconditional relationship is owning your pain. Owning your pain. When you own your pain, you manage your pain. You fill up, and then you're able to love more boldly and deliberately. All right? So, I want to give you an assignment. And that is that I want you to sit today and I want you to ask yourself a question. Am I living as my most evolved self, accepting full responsibility for every aspect of my life? Or am I living in irresponsibility because I'm tolerating something, or thinking something's going to get better, or making excuses for something, or just not living to your greatest divine strength? And I want you to meditate, and I want you to breathe, and I want you to nurture yourself. I want you to take care of yourself. And then tomorrow, I want you to wake up and say to yourself, great things flow to me and through me. I am safe, secure, happy, and loved. I have a message, a purpose that the world needs. And I am on a journey to learn to be the most unconditionally loving person possible. That's brilliant. That's beautiful. And that is a divinely inspired message specifically for you. I want you to know that if you are watching these videos and something triggers you and you want to do a little more deeper discussion about it, pick up the phone and call me. Send me a message on the Facebook. Drop me a private message. Send me an I don't care how you do it. Send me a text. Pick up the phone. We'll have a conversation. And if you want, I can send you 28 pages of questions and thoughts and ideas that will accelerate your journeying process. And as you do that, what you will do is you will step into the now, into the present moment in a beautiful, brilliant way. And the fear will fall off, and the insecurity will dissipate, and you will become the divinely inspired, you will recognize the divinely inspired creation that you really are. The past is in the past, the future is at a distance, and the present is the gift that we have to experience today. Check out the website, upsizeyoursoul.com. Holler at me if I can be helpful. And I stand in profound gratitude to each one of you. Have a beautiful, brilliant day and make something special. Bye for now, guys. Thanks so much.